Carlos Slim kisses his ring. Bill Gates does. That's the kingpin right there, buddy. That's Don Corleone. But his name's Buffett, and he's from Omaha. Nice little man. Nice little man. He doesn't want tax cuts, and he doesn't want sovereignty, and he's anti-Trump. Nice little man. So we're going to Paul Watson, but the big news is David Hogg, Sr., pretty much you turn your television on, they're going to start calling television David Hogg's. Turn on any channel, he's on there. And the host always goes, Alex Jones says you're a crisis actor, nobody died, you're from California. And that ain't even a school. Well, I forgive those people. They're just, never said all that, though. See, that's how the whole scam works. So Hogg starts calling me ugly and a piece of crap and cuss words. And he says I run all these scams and then I've been sued and lost lawsuits from Sandy Hook. None of that's true. Never been sued by that, much less lose a lawsuit. Calls me a snake oil salesman. All the classic talk, or whoever's running his Twitter. And so we start sending him messages about 9 in the morning. And public tweets after that, when he didn't respond, saying, Mr. Hogg, it's hogwash. But we said it politer than that. We said, listen, we'd like to have you on Clear the Air. It's okay, you're calling me names. I'm not calling you any names. I understand you're a baby, and like a 1-year-old baby that a full-grown man's kicking. I mean, you're out here, you and your buddies are on TV saying, Daniel Ocean's a murderer and chanting burn her. That's a kill the NRA, but we know you're not. You're a sweet person, and we'd like to have you on. Hi, David. It would be fantastic for you to come on. I'd be very thankful for that. I want to set the record straight and clear things up between you and I. That's my response to saying I'm a piece of crap and he wants to come on and clean the floor with me. So he responded with this. I will not speak to anyone. This is about an hour ago. I will not speak to anyone that has had disgusting remarks to victims of mass shootings in the past. Oh, just like I can't go on TV where they claim I've said something, they don't even show the clip. I sent that tweet without realizing just how awful so many people disgusting remarks to witnesses of mass shootings in the past. Oh. And of course, how does the media study with Jones entangled with him? Jones attacked Hogg. They don't show the tweets. They just go, so many people. That damn Jones witnesses of other babies. Oh. And of course, how does the media study with Jones entangled with him? Jones attacked Hogg. They don't show the tweets. They just go, so many people. That damn Jones witnesses of other babies. Alex Jones tangled. And of course, how does the media study conspiracy theory invites him on a show. And then I got them all calling up and everything. And then the new spin is the media saying, oh, YouTube had to replace one of the strikes because it was totally made up. We had a video saying there weren't crisis actors. They called that crisis actor video. So they took one strike off, but still they've got the site banned from streaming till they dig up something better because it wasn't playing their narrative and Drudge linked to it again. See, they just want to do it when Drudge doesn't link again and they want to strangle us in the dark. But things aren't going too well for them, with us, but with you, the purges, the channels. Corsi, every guest I'm having on that's prominent is having their channel shut down. So, Paul, this is a big deal. You're taking over. You're going to be part of the Paul Revere 2000.
I mean, they've tried this before he's gone. They're all gone. This is a total
By the way, hundreds of all the major gun sites are gone. Like their headers are still there, but there's no videos.
And listen to what Google's doing. Google Shopping has not only removed search results for guns, which they did, by the way, like 6 years ago, but now they've removed search results for Burgundy. Like if you're trying to buy a bottle of Burgundy wine, you can't do it on Google Shopping because it has the word gun in it. If you want to buy a water pistol, they've removed that. It's just totally, oh, you can still buy arsenic and flamethrowers, by the way, because they don't have the word gun in them. If you want to buy a Guns N' Roses album, forget about it. I mean, this is just absolutely imbecilic. They're trying to do it to ban certain keywords, and it's just blowing up in their faces, making them look stupid. But Alex, Hillary Clinton complained about this last night. She came out with a tweet saying, basically, social media cost her the election. It didn't. What cost you the election is you're inherently detestable and had a terrible campaign strategy. That's why you lost. But no, it was Facebook, it was Twitter. We need to do more to censor, to ban. She openly got up on Twitter last night and called for that. So this is the purge. They know they're going to lose in 2018 and 2020 if they don't crack down. So imagine how viral we would be, Alex, right now, without the shadow banning, without being demoted in the algorithm, without constantly, almost on a day-to-day basis now, having to talk about this over and over again until we're blue in the face, till our own listeners get bored of it. We're on the back foot. We can't get on the front foot and get out our own narrative, and that's part of the game. That's
and meanwhile, Hillary goes, defend democracy, ban free speech. We just put her tweet up.
Yeah, she said that we should all care about how social media platforms play a part in our democratic process, because unless it's addressed, it will happen again. What will happen again? You'll lose because you didn't go to Wisconsin. Yeah, that'll happen again. The Democrats will lose if they don't have a candidate with any actual platform.
And I love how Mark Dice, I love how Mark Dice responds down there. Let's read his tweet.
Yeah, I got a lot of good responses. There was one from Gab as well.
His top one is, maybe you should pay more. Maybe you had to pay more because nobody wanted to see your stupid ads in their feeds.
Yeah, because they were claiming that Hillary had to pay twice as much as Trump or whatever, which, you know, with Facebook, you have to lay down a lot of money for that to reach anyone. So it's probably not, she's probably not even right in pointing that out. But again, it's a purge, Alex. They're coming for the free speech. This is it. They're coming.
Well, by the way, they had this article about this Google engineer said, we recommended Alex Jones 15 billion times in our algorithm. Well, that algorithm's public. They've violated it now. It's whatever's already being trending, what the people choose, then Google recommends it out. Google got caught force-feeding Hillary Clinton, but still she's bitching. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to let Paul take over. We're going to do this 34-hour broadcast kicking off Thursday, right through Friday evening at 6. Paul's going to be hosting 2 hours that day, 6 to 8 a.m., right before David Knight comes on Friday, so be sure and tune into that. And Paul's right. I get sick of covering censorship. But now it's gone from a 1 on a Richter scale to like a 7. They're purging everybody, and you don't want to live under these people. Neither do I. So get the articles Paul wrote at Infowars.com, at PrisonPlanet.com, at NewsWars.com. They're trying to take a bunch of our online sponsors right now. I mean, it's on. And it's so authoritarian, it's so criminal. I didn't even plug last hour. I'm proud of the fact that I hardly ever plug products, even though it funds this whole operation. But I do when they're attacking free speech of anybody. Whether it's the president or whether it's Milo or whether it's Drudge or anybody, I'm there because this is paramount. It's why they call it the First Amendment. Now, where did my plug sheet go? And I'm going to let Paul take over here. No, it doesn't matter anymore. I tell you, I'm all over the map. We have the new Best Source Fiber, prebiotic fiber, that has all of the very best natural ingredients in it that are known to healthily flush out your body. It's concentrated. It's $17.76. It's 50% off out of the gate. Leading competitors are $50, $60 for this big a container of high-quality concentrated fiber. This is good deal, normally like $29. It's $17.76, 30-day supply, a little scoop for yourself, your children, whatever. Prebiotic fiber, the highest quality, InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or 888-253-3139. Good source of fiber, powerful probiotic with unique fermentation patent. It's beyond fiber. Support for occasional constipation, promote optimal colon health, dissolves easily, natural taste, and low glycemic index. Consult your physician before using this product if you have any issues. And again, prebiotic fiber, check it out, what that means for yourself. That's trademarked, that's patented, that's documented. This is, from our research, the best. All the products are. And again, we sold out a lot of them. I was doing 50% off. Toothpaste had to go back to regular price because we got like a week supply left of it. It'll be sold out for months. So a lot of big specials. DNA Force Plus is coming out. It's even stronger with more bio-PQQ and CoQ10. But DNA Force is about to sell out today at this price, 67% off. And it's still super high quality, Rolls-Royce quality, thousands of great reviews. It's just we're coming out with even better stuff. So, again, InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com. We made a big deal to get it even for less price, from like $50 a bottle of our cost to $30 a bottle. Okay, so I'm selling it right now at the cost it took us to make this DNA Force. Not because I can't even move it. I just, we're coming in with the new stuff in the next few months. We've got Cellforce that is the stronger, better DNA force, but I didn't want to step on Grip's toes. But he's so cool. He said, hey, you found a bigger company, the same stuff, lower cost. Go ahead and go with it. And just say that Cellforce is DNA Force Plus when it comes out. Well, this is the old DNA Force. And again, it's not as strong or concentrated. It's a huge dosage. It's just we've got an even better deal for you now. So I'm selling it for what it cost to make it. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. We've got a new super high-quality whey coming out. Our old one's great. We're getting an even better supplier at lower price. So we're selling this out at 50% off. These are lost leaders when you talk about the DNA Force. So it's high quality. Take advantage of it today and check out some of the other products while you're there. All right, Paul, we love you. We appreciate you. I want to ask this question in closing and have you take over. What is it like starting to work with InfoWars 16 years ago, 17 years ago, whatever it was, and now I ask this question every year or so to you, to now, how surreal is this? Because we just wanted to put out issues for other people to have debate, to see everybody else rolling over like cowards of the system and to just see this epic battle, but so many good people standing up who are grassroots. What would you call this moment in time? Dr. Pachenik was calling it the information apocalypse. I mean, it just gets crazier by the day. Where is this going?
Well, it's going towards them directly delisting InfoWars completely off of Google. That's their ultimate aim. Like, they'll probably get to the point where they try to censor ISPs from allowing InfoWars to even be accessible to their users. I mean, this is how far they've lost the argument, okay? We've got the viral resonance with the population. They know that. So instead of getting better arguments and trying to combat us on a level playing field, they're just trying to censor us. I mean, we didn't even talk about it, Alex. Medium.com, right? Cernovich, Jack Posobiec, and others had all these big articles up on Medium.com. Big national security news stories. They just wiped them off the platform last week. Bang, you're gone. Even though it's literally like Cernovich has breaking national news stories.
And by the way, they were real stories with real sources over and over again.
Yeah. And he was giving some of it, like he gave one to BuzzFeed. They checked it out. It was a real story. They published it. But no. So again, I mean, Drudge warned us all along not to get too dependent on sites that we don't control. We've all done that because we needed to get out in the battlefield. But now we've got blowback.
Well, I mean, Drudge was right, but we worked to warn people to keep the big globalist web somewhat free. We're still fighting while trying to build other platforms. So it's been an important balance. But clearly, we're now entering a phase where folks have got to go to newswars.com because they hacked and took down InfoWars yesterday for a couple hours. To now go to prisonplanet.com and understand. I know, listeners, I know you get this. We've got all this other news to hit that's important, but this is the real deal, and we're winning, but now they want to shut us up.
Exactly, and I mean, with YouTube as well, Alex, there's another issue with that. You remember Logan Paul, who filmed the suicide victim in Japan? He's just been invited back, embraced with open arms by YouTube, saying, oh, we will let you back on monetization within 90 days. Like, Alex, I uploaded 18 videos straight. They were all demonetized. You know why? Because I put InfoWars in the tag. The first time I didn't put InfoWars in the tag yesterday, boom, it was monetized. They're blocking the word InfoWars, and that's probably how they're doing the algorithm demotion as thing. And I mean, this is the battle. This is it. They're going to try and strangle us entirely. But as you said, we just need to keep riding it basically until the wheels fall off at this point.
Well, I got to tell you, it is simply insane that we're dealing with this. Go ahead and take over, Paul. Soy face, which is a real thing in psychological studies of the soy boys that are victims of this cult and the bizarre faces they make. I know they're trying to block that video right now. It's just bizarre.
It's bizarre. I mean, half of these videos are like based on memes, Alex, and they can't even tolerate memes. It's like the establishment can't communicate in the language of memes, so now they're trying to censor memes. It's gone beyond.
That's right. The leftists don't know why they're guzzling soy and making these chimpanzee faces, and then you cover it, and then you're bad.
I'm bad for covering it, yeah, completely.
Paul Joseph Watson. Go ahead.
We'll continue to do it until the wheels fall off, Alex. We're not going to do anything else. We're not going anywhere. We're not going away.
This is going to blow up in their face, Streisand style. It already has. Great job. More Paul straight ahead.
We are live. It is the 4th hour of the Alex Jones Show with me, Paul Joseph Watson. I'm going to talk a little bit more about censorship, but not too much, because you're all probably bored to death of it by now. And it relates to this headline up on Breitbart.com, which is another level of imbecilic censorship. Google appears to remove all shopping search results for guns, even water guns, Guns N' Roses, and Burgundy. Absolutely incredible. Now, Google removed search results, at least in their shopping section, for guns in 2012, from what I could see. But now Google has removed search results for any product that contains the word gun in it, including water guns, toy guns, the band Guns N' Roses, and even Burgundy from its shopping section. Google has removed the results in its shopping tool for a wide range of terms related to firearms, unwittingly censoring completely unrelated items such as music groups and movies whose titles matched filtered terms. So again, this is the absolute crazy level of censorship where they will ban absolutely milquetoast mild products simply because they have the word gun in them. Meanwhile, allowing the sale of things like arsenic and flamethrowers. That's literally what's documented in this article. So if you search for gun, guns, pistols, AR-15 rifle and revolver in the shopping section of Google's search engine, that will now fail to return any results, while other searches, which have nothing to do with firearms, but include keywords similarly, provide no results, including toy guns, water guns, glue gun. If you want to do any DIY this weekend, forget about it. Guns N' Roses, Gundam, Top Gun, Naked Gun, Man with the Golden Gun, Shogun, Sex Pistols, and even Burgundy. The fact that words including gun as part of the title have led many to suspect Google is running a filter specifically to remove any search result including those letters, as opposed to filtering by product category or vendor. Now, there was quite a funny tweet on this article, which, again, documents the fact that you can still buy flamethrowers, arsenic, but you can't buy Guns N' Roses, CDs. You can't buy water guns. You can't buy Burgundy wine. Absolutely incredible. The level of moral panic, the level of hysteria that's being generated in the aftermath of this school shooting is like nothing ever seen before. Now, they're doing it on YouTube with the conspiracy videos. That's the big moral panic right now. Of course, we had the Nazi moral panic with Twitter and with YouTube back last year, which they used as an excuse to censor conservatives, people like Roger Stone and others. Now they're doing it for Google shopping results. I mean, when it gets to this level, what do you think is going to happen right before the 2018 midterms? What do you think the kind of online environment is going to be like in the run-up to the 2020 election? They're going to be banning absolutely everything. They'll be outright delisting InfoWars from Google.com. That's what's coming next. I'll put a bet on that. They'll just blacklist the website entirely from Google. They've already done it from Google News. Now you won't be able to Google InfoWars whatsoever in maybe 6 months, maybe 2 years, but that's what's coming. Absolutely insane level of censorship. Now we have this headline out of The Hill. Logan Paul gets YouTube advertising back in probation deal. Of course, Logan Paul is the incredibly annoying viral YouTube star who was infamously not even kicked off the platform. I think he got one copyright strike after there was a big fury about it, when he filmed a dead suicide victim in a Japanese forest. Do you remember that story? Well, now embattled YouTube personality Logan Paul. And by the way, I don't even care. I don't want him to be censored for filming a dead body. Yes, it's distasteful. Yes, it's offensive. Yes, it's edgy. But once they classify that, then they move it on to everything else. And by the way, you can be edgy on YouTube. You can say the N-word on YouTube. You can call people every name under the sun. As long as you're not political, they'll do nothing about it. You won't even get demonetized in many cases. There are people with like 6-7 million subscribers on YouTube who relentlessly use the N-word. They do all kinds of stuff. Nothing happens to them. Fully monetized. No strikes whatsoever. When it gets political, that's when they get nervous. So Polygon reported Monday that Paul will once again get advertising on his YouTube videos, but will remain on a 90-day probation that prevents his videos from appearing in the website's trending category, which of course is not organically trending. It's completely curated and artificial, which will limit Paul's ability to reach viewers. No, it won't. He's probably got like 20 million subscribers. Doesn't even matter. He will also be barred from getting Google preferred ads on his videos. ads that place with the top 5% of content on YouTube. And again, literally the past 18 videos that I uploaded to YouTube. And by the way, I don't make money off YouTube advertising, never did, but it just emphasizes how much they hate us. The last 18 videos were completely demonetized without ever being reviewed. As soon as they get uploaded, demonetized, not suitable for advertisers. Yesterday, I uploaded one, and for the first time, it was monetized because I didn't use the tag InfoWars in the video, and it was the only video out of 18, the last 18, that was monetized. So that shows that they're using the tag InfoWars not only to demonetize, but when a video is demonetized, that also buries it in the algorithm and prevents it from going super viral. But now Logan Paul has been embraced back into the YouTube community with open arms, with the CEO, Susan, whose surname I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, has said that Paul, one of the platform's biggest stars, does not deserve to be banned. So he can go around filming dead bodies and laughing about it and like tasing dead rats and stuff. He doesn't deserve to be banned, and he gets all his advertising privileges back. She said, quote, he hasn't done anything that would cause those 3 strikes. He didn't question the narrative on gun control. Of course, that's verboten on YouTube now, obviously. She went on to say, we can't just be pulling people off our platform. Unless they're conservatives, then they can go screw themselves. They need to violate a policy. We need to have a consistent rules. You don't have consistent rules. There was a Tim Pool video where he was debunking some of the conspiracies about the Parkland shooting. Remember the media conspiracy that they generated, that they contrived, that they endlessly reported, that the shooter was a member of a white supremacist group. Completely fake news. They did no checking into it whatsoever. They just believed a troll on 4chan when he told them. And they ran with that news for over 24 hours. They didn't even delete the original tweets. There was like an AP tweet with, what was it, like 10, 15,000 retweets, didn't delete it. Tim Pool makes a YouTube video saying this is fake news. The media is circulating conspiracy theories about the Parkland shooting. His video gets removed from YouTube, even though he's decrying conspiracies about the Parkland shooting. So no, you don't have consistent rules, Mrs. YouTube CEO. It's one rule for them and another rule for everyone else every single time, which is why everybody bitches about it endlessly on Twitter and you don't listen. Absolutely incredible. And if you want to buy burgundy wine on Google Shopping, forget about it because it's banned. What else is going to be banned when they're banning burgundy wine because their stupid algorithm, their stupid filter doesn't even work properly? YouTube purge begins. Top conservative YouTube sites taken down in February. Sweep, mentioned this earlier. Bombard's body language, 265,000 YouTube subscribers, gone. David Seaman, gone. Colin Flaherty, gone. Richie Allen, gone. Again, because they had edgy content and people were offended. So what? Be offended. Who cares? You're making the Streisand effect come into effect by doing this anyway. But again, people say, oh, it's a private company. No, it's a monopoly. If these are the only platforms which have any audience, if these platforms are merging into one, they're all buying each other until it's literally owned by Google. When Google is Skynet and owns absolutely everything and becomes the de facto telephone, it's like banning people from using a telephone because of the conversations they have with their friends. I mean, it gets to that point where everything becomes so concentrated, such a monopoly, that we need some kind of new regulation. So my private company argument has long gone out of the window. Things need to change quickly because this is crushing the First Amendment. We'll be back on the Alex Jones Show live after the break. Infowars.com. Don't go away. You're live. It is the final segment of the fourth hour of the Alex Jones Show. I want to go through a list of these banned terms just to jump back into this that Google Shopping has banned in the aftermath of the Parkland shooting. Listen to the level of hysteria that has to be in place, the level of contrived moral panic for these terms to be banned. Right, if you search for these terms in Google Shopping, you will get no results. The Guns of Neverone, Gungrave, Gundam, Enter the Gungeon, Top Gun, Shogun, Total War, Sniper Elite 4, Revolver, which is a Beatles album, Guns of Icarus, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, the Sex Pistols, You want to buy a Sex Pistols album? Forget about it. Guns N' Roses, that's banned. Indianapolis Colts, I guess Colt is a brand of gun, right? I wouldn't know because I'm a disarmed peasant in the UK. Movies by James Gunn. And Anchorman, the legend of Ron Burgundy. So because the three letters G-U-N are in Burgundy, Anchorman, the legend of Ron Burgundy, is banned. Forget about it. It's been memory hold because of their ridiculous filtering system. What a joke. Let's move on because you're probably sick of hearing about censorship. Let's move on to Germany, which had an election, of course, last year, and the AfD just became the second most popular party in Germany, the anti-immigrant party. Well, now Merkel finally acknowledges German no-go zones, vows to eliminate. Those no-go zones that the left regaled us about not existing for the past 3-4 years, Angela Merkel has acknowledged their existence. This is out of Zero Hedge. Following approval from Germany's conservatives to cooperate with the Social Democrats, who, by the way, they were basically the equivalent of Germany's Democrats. They've now been overtaken in popular support by AfD, which is absolutely huge. German Chancellor Angela Merkel sat down with Germany's RTL, where she discussed a number of policy positions, including an acknowledgement of Germany's growing no-go zones and the need to do something about them. So all those people that lectured me about this being a conspiracy, Angela Merkel herself admits it. What have you got to say about that then? She said, quote, talking about trying to reintegrate these people, that means, for example, there are no-go areas. There can be no rooms where no one dares to go, and there are such spaces, and you have to call that by name, and you have to do something about it. And I think that Thomas de Maizière, who is, I think, the Minister of the Interior, we also said now that we want a model police law. We cannot stand by the different security centers in different states, and that needs to be unified as soon as possible. So she's openly admitting that they have these no-go areas, which, by the way, is a more recent phenomenon in Germany after their importation of about, what was it, over 1 million migrants. Now she's acknowledging it. Now she's acknowledging something needs to be done about it, countering this idiotic conspiracy theory which still prevails among some on the left that these areas don't even exist. Talking about no-go areas, Sweden has a heck of a lot of them. Migrant IKEA murderer explains away murder motive claiming SHIT happens. Eritrean failed asylum seeker turned murderer Abraham Ukabadia claimed in an interview that he wants to forget his killing of a 55-year-old woman and her 28-year-old son in an IKEA store in 2015 and said SHIT happens. These kind of things just, I mean, who hasn't walked into an IKEA store on a weekend and beheaded a couple of people? I mean, we've all done it, right? Stuff happens. The 37-year-old who was convicted of murdering a woman and her son opened up about his past in Eritrea and brushed off the murder in a new interview with a Swedish newspaper, who probably fawned at his feet. He claimed that if his application were rejected, he would go to Malta, but noted he did not have the cash available at the time. So he hasn't even been deported yet. Just beheads a couple of people, you know, stuff happens. This is Sweden, after all, the Islamic State of Sweden. When asked about the murder and how he thinks of it today, the failed asylum seeker said, SHIT happens. I understand in prison saying it's not like that. It was not good. It's a misunderstanding. I did not see the consequences. Just a little misunderstanding. Today I would not have done it. It just happened. What kind of sick attitude would you have to treat it with that level of, you know, inconsequentiality? Absolutely incredible. Speaking of Sweden, again, 10 bullet holes found in Swedish police station attacked overnight. Now, in Sweden, it's so peaceful and tolerant and culturally enriched. Either the police stations have to have bulletproof glass, be surrounded in steel, or they just close them down entirely and put microphones in these no-go areas that just pick up the screams of women. And maybe they'll get there in 30 minutes if they're not attacked with stones and rocks and bats or whatever. Maybe they'll get there, maybe they won't. Now, 10 bullet holes have been found in Swedish police station attacked overnight. They've had grenade attacks in Malmo on these police stations. It's total bedlam. But, you know, it's a nice place to go, apparently. That's what I was told. Police in the Swedish migrant majority town of Sojalade, butchering that pronunciation, discovered 10 bullet holes in the local police station thought to have been attacked by an unknown assailant on early Monday morning. The shooting occurred at the town's police station located about a 30-minute drive from Stockholm, according to investigators. A police spokesman said the holes were likely from bullets, but they could not make a definitive comment until technicians had examined the scene. So they're just firing bullets randomly at the police station. You know, SHIT happens. What are you going to do about it? In the troubled migrant-populated Java area in Stockholm, the last remaining police station was forced to close its doors due to a lack of officers to staff the station. Oh, I wonder why they were so reluctant to staff it. It continues. Attacks on police in Sweden have increased in recent months following the bombing of a police station in Helsingborg in October, which was described as an attack on democracy by the Swedish Prime Minister. Are they going to do anything about it? No. Just over a month later, in November, police officers in Uppsala were attacked by a man who threw hand grenades at a police vehicle. Hand grenade attacks are up across Sweden, by the way. That's part of their new cultural enrichment. In January, another police station in the heavily migrant-populated city of Malmö, which the left thinks is a paradise, was bombed, destroying much of the facade of the building and damaging several vehicles. No officers were injured. 2 men were arrested. So Sweden continues to enjoy its cultural enrichment. Sweden has an election coming up, by the way, in September, where basically the only party that's promised to do anything about this, the Sweden Democrats, has a pretty good chance of winning. So basically that is Sweden's last hope. We have the Italian election coming up in March, here just in a few days' time, actually. I think it's the 4th of March, where it looks like a right-wing coalition, a conservative coalition, is going to win in Italy. Part of that coalition has promised to deport 500,000 migrants because they're having similar problems, especially in these port towns, being completely overrun by migrants arriving from Greece, arriving from Libya. So the Italians have had enough. There you see Italy's emergency immigration could be a swing factor in election. The Italians have had enough. Have the Swedes had enough? Will they actually grow a spine, a backbone, and vote in a party that's going to address these crippling social problems that have been brought about as a result of mass migration? It remains to be seen. Another article here, Labour appoints racist transgender activist as Equality's policy advisor. Now, this is the transgender activist who got kicked out of an advertising campaign by L'Oreal in September last year. You may remember this, because she said, quote, "The white race is the most violent and oppressive force of nature on earth." She's a racist. She's an outright racist. She was kicked out even of L'Oreal for saying that. And who's hired her to be an advisor on an LGBT plus advisory board? It's the Labour Party. Monroe Bergdorf said this Thursday she was thrilled to announce that I've been asked to be part of an LGBT plus advisory board for the Labour Party, below a smiling picture of her and Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn. This is a party, the Labour Party, that allows segregated meetings at their own events because, of course, they're in mosques, it's Muslims. So they allow segregation in that score. And by the way, they also refuse to allow or ask white people to pay more to get into their events, openly breaking discrimination laws. Absolutely incredible. Now they've hired the woman or the transgender person, G or whatever she wants to be called, who said that white people were the most oppressive force of nature on earth. She made explicitly racist comments, but now she's been invited to appear on the BBC, Twitter. She was verified by Twitter. They loved it. Of course, that sort of stuff goes down well on Twitter. And now she's going to be on this panel for the Labour Party. Absolutely incredible. The most extremist voices are being given the most prominent positions by the left. They're getting more and more fringe, more and more extreme. Incredible situation. That's going to do it for the Alex Jones Show. Coming up live, though, is The War Room with Owen Schroyer. Breaking news at Infowars.com. Don't go away.
This broadcast contains subject matter that might trigger liberal snowflakes. It's The War Room with Owen Schroyer.
So there's really all kinds of important news to cover today. And again, the Florida shooting, just with all of the weirdness, tends to distract from it. And there's some other stuff we'll get to on that. But the Russian collusion continues to blow up in the Democrats' face. I couldn't even believe what the Democrats were doing today during the hearing of Jerome Powell. I mean, this party has really gone totally off the rails, folks. They're calling for gun control, Amazon not paying its taxes, a leaked secret speech from Obama. But first, again, Alex Jones breaking it down. How can anyone even cover all of the madness that has become the Florida shooting?
There have been shootings where clearly people do it by themselves. There's also shootings where I can play you CNN clips where, well, more cops got shot. They need to do more to stop police violence. That's why they're getting killed. You know, they deserve it. And when Congressman Scalise got shot, Wolf Blitzer had a guest on going, well, the guy was a hero that did it. You know, he wasn't a bad guy. And Blitzer's like, okay, I agree, yeah.
I just want to let people know that he wasn't evil, that he was, I guess, tired of some of the politics that are going on.
That's what we just heard. Perhaps he wasn't evil, just tired of the politics.
The day of the event, we start seeing local stations and Texas stations that were there to cover Major League Baseball interviewing students going, there's multiple shooters, and Cruz was with me, he wasn't shooting, and then I get a guest on, they say it, and he knows other people we get in contact with say it. Imagine then you don't cover it because you don't want to be called a conspiracy theorist. That just means going and talking to the locals and seeing what really happened instead of whatever the national news in D.C. or New York or L.A. says. And that's what's crazy. But see, they can't say, oh, Jones is bad. He interviewed students that said there were multiple shooters and showed local newscasts saying the same thing, and that the sheriff stood down. No. You can't go up against that. So you go, Alex Jones is to be banned on YouTube and Google. Thank God. Washington Times said thank God. Glenn Beck says thank God. News Corps says thank God. Let's go ahead and go to Glenn Beck. Washed up, half his audience, Democrat operative, Judas Goat. He goes and falls on his sword on mainstream media. That's what he does. He goes and falls on his sword. He gets pushed by Twitter, Facebook, everybody force-fed, lavish with corporate sponsorship. He goes on, falls on his sword, says conservatism is a fraud, is what he does. And then he misrepresents what I said about 9/11, about everything. Because I said there was a stand down, Saudi Arabia, all that's come out in the 28 pages. But he misrepresents that, and then he misrepresents the rest. Here it is.
We're frequently accused of spreading conspiracy theories about Obama and about liberals, which is why I want to know what you make of the conspiracy theories this week, these attacks against the students in Florida. Why do people embrace this kind of conspiracy theory thinking?
Okay, so let's talk about conspiracy theories, because again, this is a left and right kind of thing.
Look at the condescension.
If you remember, Scripps Howard did a Scripps Howard did a poll in 2006, and they asked the question, how likely is it that people in the federal government either assisted in the 9/11 attacks or took no action because they wanted war in the Middle East?
Look at that troll.
22% said very likely. 22% of Democrats
a troll in
like
the treehouse trolls or something.
Said somewhat likely. So that's more than half of Democrats thought that Bush was involved in the 9/11 conspiracy. So conspiracy.
Glenn Beck is the Keebler elf.
Who was behind that conspiracy is the same guy behind a lot of these conspiracies, Alex Jones.
And then they can't actually say, we need to shut it down. They played local newscasts saying multiple shooters, and the police stood down. And they're also saying CNN had fake town halls. That's confirmed. And the crowd goes, burn her, of hand-picked people. They're saying, kill the NRA, burn people, murder them, shoot them, they're murderers. And all we're doing is going, gee, they all admit they're in an ad thing, and they're all in PR, and they admit that in BuzzFeed. And it's like, shut up, you said that no one died. See, it's like I say, you know, I want to live like Venezuela. Shut up, you're a Nazi, you want to live under Hitler. I'm like, no, I said I want to live under communism.
So there's Alex Jones breaking it all down, and we went to Glenn Beck. I mean, the guy just looks like such... Oh, there he is. Oh, it's Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck, the Keebler elf. What will he make up next? Well, it wasn't easy to make the greatest country in the history of the world here. And it's not exactly going to be easy to defend it. But as long as we have the will to, the desire to, and the general independence as sovereign citizens too with our Bill of Rights. We intend to do just that. Welcome to the War Room. I'm your host, Owen Schroyer. All kinds of news to cover today. In fact, let's get a doc cam of my desk today just to show you the swaths of news and all the different types of topics we are going to be discussing today. The first hour, I'm going to try to knock it all out. The second hour, I'm joined by Roger Stone, and Jason Fick will be breaking down some of the censorship that's going on YouTube and all of the censorship across the board. And then Syrian Girl joins me in the third hour at 5 to talk about the latest developments in Syria, which is just now starting to come back into the main fold of news with the most recent string of attacks over there, and just really the general confusion, I would say, coming out of Syria as far as what's actually going on. More questions than answers, at least from my perspective. So we'll see if Syrian Girl can answer some of those for us. You know, I don't even know where to begin today. I've got a string of clips from Sheriff Israel on Jake Tapper on CNN 2 days ago. And as much as we give Jake Tapper a hard time, and deservedly so, he actually did a great interview with Sheriff Israel and really embarrassed him. I mean, quite frankly, see, again, I've always kind of just not wanted to go too much into Sheriff Israel. Roger Stone defends him as a person, not his politics or whatever he does as far as a sheriff. He just says, look, I think he's a fair person. I think he'll abide by the law here. But I got to tell you, after everything I've seen from Sheriff Israel and then this interview on Jake Tapper, I've concluded two things that I can now say beyond a reasonable doubt. One, Sheriff Israel cannot get his story straight. For whatever reason that is, call him a liar